Welcome to Spunky Spirit with Carrie Muggs, where we talk about spiritual empowerment, growth, and connection. Here's your host, spiritual life coach, author, and intuitive advisor, Carrie Muggs.
Hi guys, welcome to a Spunky Spirit podcast. And this week we're going to talk about automatic writing. And a lot of people don't know what automatic writing is. Some people think it might be journaling. Some people think, a lot of people just don't even know. So my first experience with automatic writing was when my grandfather died. And I kept getting this intuition, or I could hear him saying, you need to write a letter. You need to write a letter. So finally, I told my grandma, I said, he wants me to write you a letter. And she's like, then go write it. So I went out in the backyard on his favorite little porch swing that I still have. And I just started writing. And it was just the most amazing experience. It's almost like channeling. And it's a great way to practice connection. So I just started writing, and things just came out in that letter that I would have never had any knowledge of or known of. And my grandma read through it, and she wanted it printed out, and she wanted it read at the funeral. So that was my very first experience with automatic writing. So what automatic writing is it's kind of a form of channeling. It's a way for you to hear spirit talk to you or channel through you. And it also helps you open up that connection. So I try and do automatic writing at least twice a week, or I used to, sometimes when I don't feel a great connection, I'll try it every day. If you journal every day, then this would be a great practice for you to do every day. So you can do it. It's kind of actually a form of meditation, honestly. So you could do this instead of meditating one day, or you could do this as a form of meditation. So I have a journal that I use just for automatic writing. And sometimes you just sit down and you just start writing. And at first, it is going to be stuff that just things that you were thinking that that you have control of. And then once you just keep going and you can't stop. You can't stop writing. You can't be like writing something and then stopping and thinking. You have to continue writing. Even if you write the sentence and said, I'm changing, and then you don't know what else to write, you just write changing until something else comes through. So this is why it's automatic writing, because you don't stop in the middle of it. You just keep going. And there's going to be lots and lots of, especially at first, there's going to be lots of repeated words. But honestly, this is great practice. This is really, really good practice. It's one of the best practices for connecting to spirit. It honestly is. I have my students do lots of practicing with oracle cards and, sometimes pendulums. Pendulums aren't my favorite, but always before you do any of these practicing, always protect yourself, surround yourself with white light, and ask only those with the highest intentions be able to speak or connect to you. So then you just continue to write and write and write. And so sometimes people are like, well, I have no idea. And you just kind of sit there. So at the top of the page, sometimes during different things, I'll write, today I am, and then I'll just write and see what comes through. And sometimes at the top of the page, I'll be like, what will you have me know? And then spirit just kind of steps through with all this information for you. And it's fun to go back and read all this automatic writing. There's times when, I get a little down or I get, a little worried about self-confidence or things like that. And I'll go back and read these automatic writings, and I'll be like, wow, I can't even remember writing that, or I can't even, and it's like advice or knowledge or spiritual guidance. And it's from your team. It's from your team. It's from your ancestors. It's from your subconscious. It's from your higher self. So automatic writing is kind of amazing. And I really, really suggest doing it. And if you can't, if you struggle with it at first, that's okay. You just keep writing. It's almost like meditation. If you're writing and then you're starting to think of what you need to buy for groceries, kind of push that aside. And even if, what you have to buy for groceries comes out on the paper for just a minute, that's okay. But try and focus on what you're hearing from spirit or what your higher self is thinking. And like I said, some sentences will be repeated, and that's okay. So that is like the best way to practice connection to spirit. It's the best way, to channel. And I do know a lot of people, you can start out with like, I am thankful for. If you struggle with, okay, what am I going to write about? Or cause you don't really have to have a subject to write about, right? Because it's going to be spirit coming through. But to get your juices flowing or to get like an intention. So like, what is your intent for that day? Are you struggling in your relationship? So at the top of the page, you'll be like, things I can do better in my relationship. And spirit will come through with that advice and help you with the relationship stuff. So that is, a really good thing to put an intention at the beginning of your automatic writing. Always kind of write it at the top of the page. Because honestly, when I wrote my grandfather's letter, there was an intention to channel him through or to hear him speak to me. If you just sit down and you don't have an intention, or you just kind of like, okay, spirit, let me have it, it's going to be a lot harder to focus on what they're saying. So if you take little things at a time, like today I want to focus on, guidance in my marriage. Today I want to focus on my 10-year-old having anxiety. Today I want to focus on, what would you have me know today with what's going on in the world? So set the intention, sit down in a quiet place. And sometimes I do like music. I like music. When I first started out, I kind of liked music, soft music with lyrics, because sometimes the lyrics would, give you ideas. Sometimes they even give you answers. But now it's to the point where you just listen to I just listen to soothing, just instrumental music. And the trick to automatic writing is you just go and you write and you write and you write and you just don't stop. You don't stop. There's no stopping. Even if you write the same word like bazillion times, you just keep going until and you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised at the end when you look over it. You'll be like, oh wow, this is really crazy. So sometimes different mediums, and I've done this when like before classes or before I teach a class, I'll be like, okay, spirit, what is the intent of this class? Or what would you have my students know? Or what would you have, and I would write a letter to the students, or write a letter that spirit wants me to tell the students. So automatic writing is, I honestly believe, the best way to practice. And it wasn't my very first, medium experience. I had seen ghosts when I was little, and, they would show up, and my great grandma came through and told me everything was going to be okay and everything was going to be fine. But this was the very first time when my grandpa came through. This was the first time I actually had a long, drawn out communication with what he wanted, my grandma to know and his daughters to know. And it was really, really cool. And here's the thing too. At the end, I was completely exhausted. So when you get big downloads or big stuff, just know everybody handles frequencies different. So if you're, just be prepared that you might be tired at the end of a journal, an automatic writing session. It just depends on what the intent is and how deep the subject is, I guess. But I still do get, kind of tired after readings. That's why I can only do 3 a day. So I just kind of know what I can expect. And, hopefully maybe I can get it to where I can do 4 readings a day, or, but right now I just know my limit is 3, especially back to back. So just know that when you do the automatic writing, if you get a little tired, then make sure, you ground yourself, go outside, put your feet in the grass, or take a bath, or, do it at night before you go to bed. So just kind of know where you're at when you do these, because I do remember when I did my grandfather's, I was completely exhausted afterwards. So that is going to be it. That's kind of short for this podcast, but I just wanted you to know, I just wanted everybody to know automatic writing is probably, and I don't ever give it enough justice. I always tell people, pull cards or guess which card this is, but automatic writing is probably the best way to practice connecting with spirit, because this is your answers, the things you need. And, you can automatic write for your children, things like that. Just know if you're going to automatic write for your neighbor, and you're not going to get very much information, because spirit doesn't tell you information that's not privy to you. So that's kind of a given. But have fun with it and relax, and just know that, and just don't doubt it. Don't be like, is this just me? Is this just me in my head? Is this just this? Don't think that. Like, sometimes it's really hard to determine what your imagination is and what spirit is. And I even get that now during readings. Like, if I see a cinnamon bear during one of my readings, which has happened before, I kind of get nervous and be like, why am I seeing a cinnamon bear? Am I hungry? But I know I have to say it because it's going to fit somehow. I have to trust that this is not my imagination. This is spirit. And once you start doing it enough, you're going to get that trust, and you're going to get that, and you're just going to know that this is supposed to be what's coming through. So don't second guess yourself. Just write what comes to you. Just continue to write and don't stop. And then once the music stops, or, set a timer if you want to have it silent, but just keep writing until the timer goes off or until the music stops, and then go back and reread what you've written. A lot of times you'll get a lot of guidance from spirit, a lot of higher self stuff that comes through. So it's kind of awesome, actually. So I would just continue to practice automatic writing, maybe start like once every week, and then maybe do it more often. But sometimes when I feel like I'm in a rut, the automatic writing will just kick me back in. So I really hope that helps everybody. I do have an awesome announcement. I have a new place. For those of you that come to private readings or private sessions, it's on Sunnyside. So watch out for that. If you have any readings, this month, then you will get text messages the morning of your reading to change that out for July. So this podcast was made in July 2020. So I love you guys. I hope you let me know your experiences with automatic writing, because I guarantee they're going to be pretty awesome. So if you have any questions, you can DM me on my Instagram, which is Carrie Muggs, or you can private message me on my Facebook page, Spunky Spirit. So hope that you guys have an awesome week, and I will see you next time.